episode of the Political Podcast. My name is Yowela Chomba, your host, today the 27th of August, 2026. Now, I must apologize that we were expecting Honorable Bino Mpundu to come through, but he couldn't make it. But life goes on, and in that life is a Political Podcast. We already have another exciting guest with us in the name of Honorable GreyFord Monde. Good morning and welcome back. I'll say welcome back because we had you earlier in the breakfast show.
Thank you very much, Yowela, and it's an honor. Today, I must say, I'm so excited that twice I'm featuring on this very powerful media house.
Yeah.
And winding it up with a political podcast.
Yeah,
and very exciting.
I must say the privilege actually is ours for you to graciously accept to stay this long. Because I think you could smell that this one will be quite the hot subject we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through.
We'll keep it back for my brother, Benwell. I know that he was ready for this. I hope
he's watching. Yeah, he was.
And we will
he
make
apologized.
sure that
he'll come through.
True.
Yeah, he'll come through. Okay. So for those that don't know, Honorable GreyFord Monde, he is a former MP for Teji constituency under the UPND. But during that time, if you remember, he was appointed Deputy Minister for Livestock and Fisheries by the late President Michael Sata, and then in the next government, former President and the late President Edgar Lungu appointed him as full Minister under Agriculture. So he's somebody that is seasoned, and I must mention, he will give us more details. I must mention that he is aspiring for presidency of the Patriotic Front. So it's actually one of those guests that I'm sure you will be excited to hear, listen from. Just a reminder, we are live on Power 91.3 FM Lusaka, Power 87.9 FM in Kabwe, Power 102.4 FM in Livingston, Yeah 89.7 in Kitwe, and of course Beats TV, channel 92 on Topstar. We are live on Facebook, Power FM Zambia. So if you are a Facebooker, please go on that page and then follow us. Later on, we'll open phone lines on 0955 997 997 and 0979 192 485. Those numbers will be projected on your screen very soon. Mr. Monde, let's get started.
Thank you.
And I want to help you relax. Tell us just in brief. I mean, I've obviously introduced you. I hope you pay me for giving you such a brilliant introduction, but I'd like you to say it on your own. Just give us a quick brief, considering what you're aspiring to.
So my name is GreyFord Monde. As stated and mentioned, I did my primary school up to grade 9 in Itezi, then went to Mumba Secondary School, then did some small crash programs in the middle. Both of them, I tried to do purchasing and supply up to a certain stage. I think had limitations in resources. I tried to do NATEC up to a certain stage. I didn't complete these two programs, but I later concluded with a bachelor's degree in economics from University of Africa. I became member of parliament for Itezi in 2011.
Okay.
And I must say that this was a journey I started 10 years before 2011.
How old were you, Sam? Mind me asking, because you still look youthful.
I was in my early 30s. I must be 34 years, somewhere there.
Okay.
And but this journey is the one that I started 10 years before 2011. Yeah. So in 2001, I was actually running as member of parliament for Itezi.
Wow.
It was not successful for me. 2006, I still gave it a shot. Maybe I was too young in 2001, but I was prepared in 2016.
Right.
2011, I was more prepared and set for the stage.
Yeah.
A few years later, I was appointed deputy minister by President Michael Sata. It was a very controversial appointment because I was appointed from the opposition.
I know.
Into government. It was a big issue, and I think it got me the stamina to go through pressure, political pressure.
Yeah.
And later, when President Sata died, he appointed me deputy minister again. That is President Edgar Lungu, and later elevated me to full cabinet minister. But before that, at Parliament, those portfolio committees, I was one of the first comers at Parliament to chair a committee of Parliament.
Okay.
It would be expected that those who were returning MPs were the ones chairing. I chaired government assurances. I also chaired through an election one of the biggest committees of Parliament called the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, and I was the first vice president, deputizing the speaker, who by virtue of his being in the seat as speaker, Then members are elected to the highest position is first vice president. I went through that process. Members from both the ruling PF and the other opposition political parties in 2011, the MMD, the UPND, voted for me unanimously. And I became the first vice president for Interparliamentary Union. This is a committee for all members of parliaments in the world.
Wow.
So all the parliaments in the world subscribe to IPU.
Yeah.
And I was in the chapter, the Zambian chapter. I was the first vice president.
Yeah.
I enjoyed myself there. I learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm married to Nancy Bensaya, who is my wife, and I have 3 children, Muana, Lusevo, and Namangolwa.
No, interesting. I think I'll stop right there because people are itching, and I'll start from one of the most contentious issues we are facing right now. I know you are very close to the former president. May you so rest in peace. In the name of Edgar Chagwa Lungu, how's been your take with regards the impasse that we are currently experiencing? We're going into a 3rd month now, and just yesterday, the Constitutional Court of South Africa, checked out the appeal. So it's gone back to to the High Court. Yes. Obviously, we have to now wait for the appeal in the High Court. So what's your take on all this impasse that we're experiencing right now?
Very well. From the onset, I must mention that we've been restrained from talking about this matter as a party. And pretty much so because this matter is really between the family of late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. May he so rest in peace. It's actually very painful to even imagine that I'm talking about him in the past, and not just in the past, but as in him being late.
Yes.
It's a strange feeling. It's something that it will take long for many of us that were very close to him to heal and be able to move on from his passing on. And that said, I may be a bit restrictive in the manner I'm going to put this matter because it's very emotive, an issue. However, the public want to hear something about it.
Yes.
Question to me that how do I take? For me, I feel very sad that I'm Zambian today with many years after independence, and as a country or as a nation, we can completely fail to resolve a problem of a one person passing on.
Yeah.
And at a family level, we've seen how people would, in a family, easily be able to resolve family wrangles.
Yeah.
But as a country, completely we've failed, and we are seeking for justice outside the country.
How best do you think it should have been handled? I know we don't want to belabor the point, as we know that you can't speak in detail, but just off the cuff of, off the top of your cuff, how best do you think either party should have handled this matter? So
in my view, I think that there should have been a give and take from both parties. And I also know that the family of President Lungu went a little bit out of their way. You remember the demands that they had made.
Yeah.
The moment that President Lungu died, they said he came in as a private citizen. He had to get a taxi from the airport to the hotel, to the hospital, and so on.
Yeah.
And after his death, we expect that he must go back in a private manner.
Yes.
So they said they wanted an airplane, a private charter to bring him. They said they wanted the plane to land in Ndola. Okay, they wanted to do a service in Ndola, then come to Lusaka, then go to Petauke, his home village, then come from there. Then so there was a list of those demands. But as it were, through the negotiations, they were able to bring down some of their requests or their points. It then therefore remained in the hands of our government to also let go some of their, and one of the major critical sticking in matters or points is that family feels that the current president must not soon pretend over this funeral. He must not be, for a moment, they say, if he came there, for example, what good will he talk about the man that they feel he persecuted?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, for me, government being the stronger hand, really government cannot take a fight with a widow for burying the husband, a sister for defending the brother, the children for defending their father.
Yeah.
Government should have been a bit softer on them In any case, they are mourning. So that at that stage, then we can get, this issue should have been concluded.
Yeah.
We are past 80, we're about 80, 83, 85 days or so.
Correct.
From the passing on of late President Edgar Lungu. And I think for me, that's very, and ask myself, if we can fail to deal with a funeral, can we deal with a hostile economy?
Yeah, and what's funny, Honorable Monde, is that just yesterday I was having a chat with a colleague, and even as a country, I think we, for lack of a better term, the country seems to have moved on. How longer can everybody wait, or stakeholders? Because the citizens will say they're also stakeholders. He's a former president,
Yes.
But it's taken too long. How much longer should we wait?
True. So there was a mention when the national mourning was curtailed by President HH. There was a statement that the national mourning is now over, we can't wait, and so on. Even if we saw later that he came back to refute and says, I never stopped the national mourning.
Yeah.
And the family said, now that there's no more national mourning, we would like to bury in South Africa. And they were followed in South Africa, taken to court. I went to South Africa. I attended the service, a burial service.
Yeah.
What turned out was that while we were in the service, we received a note that you've been stopped from burying. So when they said they've moved on, they could have moved on. But I can tell you the government has not moved on. The Zambian people, for them now their priority is to see if President Lungu can rest in peace,
Of course.
can be put to rest. That's their interest. And I think now Zambians are saying, if we bury in South Africa, let's bury in South Africa, according to the wish of the family. So for me, I think those are the matters. Yeah. And it's very unfortunate. I wish there was a way this could have been quickly dealt with, closed, and move on. There are many other pressing matters in the country. This was not expected to have been a debate right now in Zambia.
And I'm happy you've mentioned there are other many pressing matters in the country. I want to focus on a pressing matter, not in the country, but within the Patriotic Front.
Okay.
Because I know the protracted burial of the former president has an impact on preparation of the PF or Stroke Tonsi Alliance with regards getting ready for the next year's elections, because we have now 12 months to next year's elections. How does this then impact the PF as a party? Choosing a leader, I know you're aspiring for one, so we'll talk about that later on, but how does a party prepare or position itself, seeing that this issue is now indefinite?
Very well. So the effects of this funeral is impacting heavily on the PF, ourselves and the alliance, the Tonsa Alliance. You know that while we were mourning, I remember when the funeral happened, I was in a ward in tour in Western Province, the Congo district. I was campaigning there. And when this funeral happened, obviously I could not proceed to campaign. We came out. And there's been many by-elections happening. And as a party, our participation has been very limited. I'll tell you, it's been at its lowest peak.
Yeah, two by-elections have happened, you
yes.
didn't perform.
Yes, including, and even when there was still national mourning before the impasse happened, we were actually hoping that this government, in them trying to dignify the burial, death of President Lungu, we had even hoped that in this space, they would have even postponed some of these by-elections. We didn't see that. They were in full gear. So we came out because we were mourning, we were crying, we couldn't continue to campaign. And as it is now, even what we say now is so limited because really we are still mourning. Yeah. Okay? And we don't know how long this mourning is going to take, given what's happening. Maybe it's a strategy also for the ruling party to continue celebrating or continue not really celebrating, to continue enjoying the political stage on themselves without the major opposition political party, which is the PF in this case. Yeah. So it's a decision we've got to quickly make. I saw the Secretary General of the party, Honorable Nakachinda, just the other day he had a press conference where he was trying to guide on how we proceed. We intend to go back on the ground and be able to work on our structures and see how we can be able to put this together. The pressure is too much on PF, and the reason is very simple. It is because right now the major challenge to the ruling party is the PF. That's their major challenge. And in saying this, I'm saying that the PF is a platform to which the citizenry of this country will elect their leader. There are many other political parties which we know, yes, Zambians can still jump on and be able to kick out this failed government.
Yeah.
That I must say from the onset, to kick out this failed government because they've not delivered. However, the pressure is on the PF because they really feel threatened by the organization, the strength that the PF is possessing. And because of this, I can assure you that this funeral is taking a toll on us. We are emotionally, and the emotions on the PF, they go beyond just this funeral. You know that as we speak right now, the PF is in court. Again, instigated and supported by this government. All of us, the whole country, the whole world saw how that the PF now is in the hands of the ruling party, completely.
Can you shed more light on that? I know earlier this month, Honorable Mwape came out and said he went back to court to ask them to nullify the convention that was held in 2023. And obviously, well, I don't know, I won't say obviously, but it seems he means it in good faith so that you as PF now can regroup. He was there at the press conference that Honorable Kashggi held. Can you shed more light? How sure are you that the PF in its current form, whichever PF, is under the control of the government? Okay,
so whatever the views that Comrade Honorable Mwape is bringing out now, those were the very facts that we brought to court the same time, at a time when the party was being taken away.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate that he was used at that time by the government to snatch the PF from its owners. And there's nothing that has changed. In court, the submissions we made were the facts that he's actually saying now. That one, there was no true convention, that the callers of that convention, and all of that, the membership. Our PF constitution has the guidelines on how we conduct our convention.
Yeah.
And that was all abrogated. And because of that, this is what took us to court. Where we are now, we're at a point where the man we took to court, he himself has come out and said, no, I quite agree. And there's a concession, a concept that has been agreed between ourselves and the Honorable Sampa to the fact that we withdraw the matter. Okay? We withdraw the matter. Under normal circumstances, anytime there is a consent before court and parties have agreed, this matter should not even take
this long. So if the court has to make a ruling, if it takes longer than you anticipate, what happens to the PF?
So this is where the problem is. And you can see that it's a strategy, it's their plan. It could be, it's their plan. And so for them to see Honorable Mwape coming out and saying what he's saying, and by the way, there's no contempt in what we are saying, because I think this is in public, and this is a matter
public domain.
Yes. So there is no contempt whatsoever in this matter, and that for Honorable Sampa to say, this is what is there. What we await for right now, all of us, is the fact that let that consent be signed, stamped, agreed, and change the shareholders or the
office bearers
at the Register of Societies.
ROS, yes.
Okay? Yes. So once that is done, then the party is back in our hands. But I can tell you, it's not going to be very easy. And I don't even, talking from my end now, and talking from the viewpoint of our leaders, right now we know that they will not give us that party.
With that knowledge, obviously then you have a plan B.
Yes, so the plan B.
Do you mind sharing what plan B could be?
So part of the plan is what you saw, that we went into alliances, and in those alliances we've agreed which political party do we front as the one we're going to be using. And currently you see that the PF has been participating into these elections through New Congress Party.
NCP, yes.
Okay, yes. So that is part of the strategy. Outside that, there are many other political parties in their alliance, and there are many other political parties in this country. Should they want to sweep the Tonsa Alliance, they can go ahead. If they want to sweep the PF, they can go ahead. But one thing for sure is that they will never sweep all the political parties in this country. As long as there will be any political party opposing the UPND in not 12 months, again, because you say 12 months, we are talking of days now. We are no longer having 12 months at our plate. So in the next very few days, the Zambian people, through whichever political party that President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND think they'll be swept. Zambian people will rally behind any opposition political party because the misery of the past 4 years now going into 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. And Zambians can't imagine going through that again the next 5 years.
Yeah, you've got some experience with the UPND, having been a member of parliament, and also now you're on this other end. What would you point at as your biggest, because of recent past, when they clocked 1 year, they've obviously coined the word Kwenyu, and they have a list of areas that they say they've scored. But in your view, yes, would you agree with that?
Very well. So look, it's a mockery, and the UPND themselves know. Even when they say what they say, deep down their hearts, they know that they're actually a disappointment to this country. When you look at, I was earlier saying in the morning at this the breakfast show here, that if you get ministers of this government, okay, Honorable Nkandu has been quoted and many others, Honorable Milupi, and so on, saying that they are at over 80% of their achievements in what they have done for this country. The question is, do they live with Zambians? Or they are in air-con motor vehicles, full-powered, okay? Remember they said that they were not going to drive V8 cars in opposition. Now I think that in those V8 cars, they've actually bought even more latest and expensive cars for themselves. So when they are there, they think it's the whole country that is sitting with them in that VX. When they're sitting in their air-con offices, now they think it's the whole country sitting in there. When they're having more than 3 meals in a day, they are thinking it's the whole country that is having 3 meals in this country. There is poverty in this country. You've seen the ratings, that we are the 6th poorest country in the world. You've seen the ratings, that our people are suffering, the economy. In fact, they themselves admit that the only one thing we need to work on is the cost of living. And I'm going to repeat it again, because, so they can hear it. If you tell me that what you failed to do is the cost of living, what you are effectively saying is that you have completely failed. Because the cost of living is a combination of all economic factors, all the sectors put together. They translate into a better cost of living. So if you have failed with the cost of living, then what are you still doing? Is that not an admission for you to resign your position? Okay? So for me, it's a mockery. I can tell Zambians that Kwenyu. In fact, when they say that, just like you remember when they coined that Fimba Upoke, same thing with this one. Fimba Upoke, this one is an insult on the Zambian people. You can't tell a Zambian who is suffering out there, they are buying miri meal at the highest prices ever since Zambia was existed or existing. Okay, you can't. Now you are the most expensive. Everything today, if you want to know what the price of any commodity in this country is today, if you want to know the price, just remember the last price of PF 4 years ago and multiply that by 3. Yeah. Simple. Well, everything multiply by 3.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, what if for instance PF came back into power under whatever alliance, yes, what would you do better that you didn't do in the 10 years that you were in power? Whether prices of commodities were much lower than they are today, but you were voted out.
Yeah, true. And so, this is what I love about our democracy, and this is what I love about Zambia, is that we've changed governments as and when Zambians felt they want to change.
Yeah.
And in doing this, Zambians are looking for a better Zambia than what we have today. And what's unfortunate now is that at the time that PF was leaving, okay, there was progression in almost every sector.
Yeah.
The health sector itself, you saw how the last 10 years of a PF, the entire health sector changed in this country. Okay? Over 100 district hospitals were built in 10 years. Today, I don't even know if this government can point at one district hospital that has been built from the start to finish. Okay, that's the health sector. How many universities have been built during the time of a PF? So, how many roads have been built? 7,000 kilometers of tarring in this country happened in 10 years. Today, How many kilometers of tarring can you point at? And to say that you've achieved is actually a mockery.
Yeah.
Now, to answer that question regards what PF would want to do, what PF would like to do is just to continue from where we ended in terms of national developmental programs. Mm-hmm. Part of the reasons why as PF we lost power, we did a postmortem and it's in public domain. There were, as the saying goes, that you can't be 100% perfect.
Yeah.
And we've learned from our own mistakes of the past. For example, there was a big talk of corruption, okay? There was a big talk on cadreism. These were the two major reasons that really got us out of power. Mm-hmm. Cadreism, I think, took a toll on the Zambians. And what did we do about it? You have seen our late president, President Edgar Lungu, talking about what he would do given an opportunity that he came back, that there will be no cadreism and so on and so forth. There's going to be decency, there's going to be order. Yeah. So what we were going to do was to ensure that the cost of mealie meal, that was at 130 kwacha, was going to reduce further to below 100 kwacha. Yeah. And that was doable. What we were going to do was that the price of fertilizer, which was at 650, now which is at over 1,200, 1,100, depending where you are, was going to reduce from the 600 where we left it to numbers down below those numbers. So we were working on ensuring that we improve sector by sector. The tourism sector received a lot of infrastructure development. Small airports were made for small planes to land in. Roads were made. Policies were being put in place. The agricultural sector itself, when PF got into power, we found the beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program at below 400,000. We took it to over 1,400,000, somewhere thereabout. And the numbers were all going up. Yeah. Okay. Right now, you hear this government boast about ZNS milling mill. All of those milling plants were built by PF. Mm-hmm. So what we intend to do better when given an opportunity by the Zambians, first of all, let me say, Zambians are not gullible. And I think that what just happened was that the lie was too good to be true. And anyone would have fallen victim to the lies of the UPND. And this is exactly what happened. That they told people out of 100, you're going to buy mealie meal, you're going to pay a bus, you're going to buy cooking oil, you're going to... They were all of these things. And for a common Zambian, definitely, I mean, they can fall for that. And they will say, well, let's try these people. And I'm happy that this man, after having tried several times to run as president and lost, he's been given a chance. And this chance is so miserable on his record. So Zambians have an opportunity now to look at, now it must be compare and contrast. UPND, PF. Education sector, PF. Education sector, UPND. In the education sector, let's talk about free education that they talk about. Yeah. PF built over 700 schools, extending and expanding many of the existing schools. They built universities and colleges. If that infrastructure was not there, do you think that the UPND would have employed those numbers they're employing? The answer is completely no. They would not have, because where were they going to put the people? So they just came at a point when PF just finished putting up this infrastructure, both in the health sector, those hospitals, clinics, health posts, and all of those. Now, because they were in existence, they needed the manpower, staff. If PF had continued, would have still employed even much more than those numbers. Yeah. There are still gaps in the health sector. There are still gaps in the education sector. So that I can assure you that when people are going to compare, the Zambian people, as they are comparing, and they've been comparing the last 4 years, is that they've seen that this government is building real infrastructure, not these blocks that are being made through CDF without any supervision. 1 year from now, they'll be cracking. Real infrastructure with engineers to supervise. Let's come to the free education that they've been boasting about. Is this, this free education is actually, it's not a truly free education. Because, first of all, let me give this background. When PF took over power from MMD, the fees were, for secondary were about 1,000 kwacha. By the time PF was leaving, that fee for urban was 200, for rural it was 150. Mm-hmm. So PF dropped the fee from 1,000 to 200 and 150 for urban and rural, respectively. Mm. When the UPND came in, they just slashed the 200 and the 150 to what they call free education. Now, when you look at this free education, how much is a book today compared to the price of a book in PF? How much is transport for a child to move from one point to another going to school? How much is the mealie meal today for a child to feed in school? How much is sugar, those in boarding? How much? When you put all of this together, a parent is losing more money than the 150 or the 200 they were contributing to school at that time.
Yeah.
So for me, if you really look at it overall, if we rate UPND overall, all these slogans are running with free education kwenyu. I've just broken it down now. That you can clearly see that a PPU today, a parent today, anyone who's taking a child to school today, is spending more money on a child than they would have spent a 200 or a 150 in the rural compared to now.
Yeah.
If you come to the other thing they're talking, CDF kwenyu, they are comparing 1.6 million of CDF under PF and 36 point something million now for CDF. And for me, really, it doesn't do. CDF is not supposed to be your major budget activity in a constituency.
Yeah.
In a constituency, there are all ministry, line ministries in those constituencies.
Yeah.
So how can you relegate that responsibility and the role to many of these people who are administering on this CDF? Some of them are not even qualified.
Yeah.
They can't even manage those numbers. This is why you've seen that when you check into the audits that have happened right now, is that there's so much wastage, there's so much crimes or points that have been raised that, you know, misuse of resources and so on. It's because we're not prepared for this. In saying this, I'm not condemning decentralization, but decentralization must come with a plan to train, empower people who are going to handle these resources.
Yeah.
Not just dishing resources into a constituency where you are not even sure how it's going to be spent and want impact. So you have now CDF buying Zambia police motor vehicles. You have now CDF now buying ambulances. You have now CDF building bridges. You have now CDF doing literally everything. Where are the line ministries?
Yeah. We'll open phone lines, Honorable Monde, so that maybe we give a chance to our viewers and listeners to pose some questions. And as we wait, I will ask the next question. But before we do that, 0955-997-997 or 0979-192-485. We will allow 2-3 phone calls at a go before we allow Honorable Monde to respond. So please keep those phone calls coming. We have Honorable GreyFord Monde, who is aspiring presidential candidate for the PF, but also a former member of parliament for Iteji. So as we wait for those calls, Honorable Monde, I want to ask you, who, having said the failures that you have highlighted under the New Dawn government, in comparison to what the PF achieved in their time in office, who do you think is best suited in your camp to lead the PF or the Tonsi Alliance towards victory in 2026?
Very well. So
we actually have a caller. Maybe I'll allow you to just hang on. Let's give a chance to this caller. Good morning. You're through to the political podcast. Your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we can't get through to that call, so keep those calls coming. 0955-997-997, 0979-192-485 for those contributions. Yeah, maybe I'll give you the opportunity to answer while we sort out a phone line.
very well. So for us as a PF, we have a process. In the last election, after we had lost power, we opened up for getting a new president for our party. And out of that process, we saw a list of members that were interested to run. And I'm happy to be on that list of the 9 that paid their nominations to run for this election. And I don't want to preempt.
Please let me get this call. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from? Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. All right, please go ahead.
Very well. So this process, it's not a process where I should have a preferred candidate or not a preferred candidate.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me who is my preferred candidate, I would be the preferred candidate myself.
Correct.
And I leave that to the Zambian people to say whether yes or not. And through our political party, we will have a process, and that process is going to determine who's going to be a presidential candidate. But like as was advised by our party, and looking at what the country currently needs, is that we need to get a leader for this country who's first of all energetic, honest, sincere, loving to this country, okay? So that even if it's not myself that is president, I must be able to live in this country enjoying the fact that I challenge someone and he is a president and I'll still be respected and my views will still be taken.
Yeah.
I want to see such a candidate from our party that is going to unify the Patriotic Front Party, first of all.
Yeah.
That is going to get odd members, those that have dropped out, and even to, recruit more members to the party.
Yeah, let's get this call. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, please go ahead.
We seem to have, So I really want to see a unifier in this in the PF. I want to see a leader who's going to unify the 10 provinces, because it's very critical. In the next election that we are going into, it's not going to be an election of one-side-based support. This election we are going into is an election where we need every Zambian from the 10 provinces of this country coming to support the Patriotic Front. So for me, what I look forward to is to seeing a president who will be accepted by the 10 provinces. And this is why, through the processes of our convention, all our 10 provinces are going to come. And the one who's going to win, I can assure you, Mr. Yowela, that that person is going to be the president, and all of us will support him. Yeah.
Okay, having said that, I would like to place you as the preferred candidate. So tell us, as GreyFord Monde, if you are chosen under the PF convention as president, what is your next, if this happens, say in September, what would be your next, next move leading to the elections?
Very well. So today is that day I'm now inaugurated as president.
Yeah.
I can assure you that, first of all, is to ensure that we will pick up the pieces from where this government has left it, building up from our past works, and be able to ensure that we get a better Zambia for all of us. And getting a better Zambia for all of us is not something you speak and you don't want to act or do. What are the major economic drivers of our country?
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming through. Sorry, we had a glitch with our phone. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, my name is Phiri from Zambia. Good morning, GreyFord Monde.
Good morning, Philemon from
Chitulika.
Chitulika.
Yeah.
Yes, governance is not an event. Governance is a continuous process. If you want Kulama School, yes, we have to recruit other members. We recruited 30,000. And we found that in the rural areas, children were still living under a tree, right on the floor. This comes in the rural areas very quickly. These 1x4, 1x3, 1x5 classrooms, that's what once we have done. We have come in the rural areas, construction time. This time, teachers are celebrating. It's only 4 years. They are going to give us another term. That's the bank was watch. That's why even coming in. No, they're coming from international institutions that Bloomberg actually will tell you, having a world that is growing at such a faster rate in Africa, it's not a joke. Number one, which means these resources are good use. I like your government. You started now boosting government resources. That's why your former cabinet ministers are always requesting the post because of high corruption, which was prevalent then. This time, the end of the day, he said when you steal government resources, you are on your own. At the time.
Yeah. You need to wind up, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Philemon. Yeah, so we have that Mr. Philemon from Chitulika. As we wait for another call, Honorable Monde, you heard what contribution came through from the big man. But before you do, another call has come through. Sure. We've lost that one, so let me just allow you to respond to Mr. Philemon. Okay, and I'm hoping that I can finish to respond to him. I'll let you finish on this one, and then we'll carry on with the call. Yeah, because if I'm going to be cutting. So, he's a frequent caller to these radio programs. Maybe one of those that are really supported with a talk time to talk the radio callers of a UPND. And even as he speaks this, you can even see that he has no point to say. Now, I will move in to talk about him. First of all, he disagrees with me completely on everything. And yet, he starts by saying that government is an event, it's not an activity. So, government continue. And I did mention this. I said, my hope was that they were going to pick up from where we ended. They're talking of 30,000 teachers that they employed. I did mention here that if the PF did not put up the massive infrastructure, not those the 1x2 expansions, they're extending, the school is already existing. PF was putting new school in the middle of nowhere. Go in the outskirts, you find a boarding school done. These have not even done one new school on their own in any district. They've not that record. They're talking of extending 1x3. We appreciate that. But what they're doing is completely insignificant. It would have even happened without them. It goes without saying that any school built today will need to expand. So they are boasting of 30,000 to put the 30,000 teachers into our schools. They were boasting of 27,000 health workers, which they put in the hospitals that we as PF had built. While during the 10 years, we as PF, we employed more than 25,000 health workers. And you don't even hear us talk about it, because for us really, employing civil servants, I mean, it's a good thing, but our hope is would have been bragging if we went beyond 100,000 people employed as government. He's talking about Bloomberg ratings and the growth on GDP. Yeah, 6% was projected. Right now, that GDP we're talking about is on Bloomberg and on the UPND. How is that impacting on the Zambian people? How is that impacting? Cost of living is still very high, okay? Cost of medicines are not in hospitals. Corruption is rampant in this government. But this man is saying that lots of PF members are in court. We've not seen one minister, one senior government official from this government taken to court. It's selective justice that is being applied. And Zambians are watching that. So the energy sector is talking about. On the energy sector, PF moved from 1,600 megawatts of power to over 3,000. How many megawatts of power in the last 4 years has the UPND put? Didn't President Akainde boast when he got in power, finding all the infrastructure of a PF, say, we finished load shedding? Didn't he boast when he came from Middle East that they've signed $2 billion worth of contracts coming, MOUs,
for renewable energy.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We've seen figures flying, MOUs being signed that have never been translated into actuals. Today, people have 3 hours of power, 21 hours of load shedding.
Yeah.
And you still want to come and tell us here, Mr. Philemon, that this government is working and that we should be ashamed of ourselves. Total failure.
Yeah. Let's pick up another call. Good morning, your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, good morning, your name? Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is calling from Kashggi.
Your name again?
Helen.
Helen from Kashggi. Please go ahead. We've got Honorable GreyFord Monde on the line.
First of all, sorry for getting the honorable
Please, Helen, just your line is breaking. Just maybe move a little so just we can just get you clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, please go ahead quickly.
And I'll first of all, I don't know the honorable knows that
Okay, so Helen, maybe if you can call back. The line is breaking. We can't get what you're saying. Sorry for that. Yeah, so that was Helen from Kashggi. She'll call back. So we get to know her line of thought. Some more calls are coming. So we'll just allow pick up this one. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from. Good morning.
Mwauka.
Mwauka. I'm fine. Mwauka.
Tiri bwino muli bwanja mai. Zikomo.
Because that time, whenever the people are to ITH, with my family, from 3 quarters, 2 quarters, some of the opinion is for 1 quarter. For me, I know the people are to 5 times, my 5 quarters. But that was a bit done by the other two. For who put in the best of the studio, which is an data. I want to do a better chance at it. Kuna baadhi, mabuto yanaweza pita moya paka. Kulipa boma yake kuta mka boma ya UK. Road shedding is serious. Bana my industry is machiko wanawaidika kama road. Yellow member wa bwana just because bali upo bali community house ni wakati kwa pale station na patia. Ilipia mtopili kama tukao. Siri nai mkumbuka kwa watu wote wandelera. Background sema kuna kwa. Bali anapoza yao. Mbona poza wanaona kuna from the opposition na maji wakaruka tunamuka bali opposition hawa. Watu watapo baenda watu wandelera wa state of Poland. Hao watu kwa tuma bali community house wakati kwa. Wewe wandelera kwa watu wapeni vya mimi kitamu kula saka yaunga 250 kwacha ungoendesha kula pesi. Sikuja kama mozende babwera kwa katika batia.
Yeah. Ziko Mamake Angela. So that's Mamake Angela from Garden Chilulu. Your comments?
Very well. So Mamake Angela ziko mkwambili hapo mukambirako Mazambians. Bamene Mazambians banali kuuziwa ati no muzamba kugula vintu vochipa mwazionera.
Yeah.
So it's our time. Ni ntawi yanu manje ntawi yatu tonse Mazambians. Anga nkale bamange bonse wa opposition. Lekani wa bamange as long as kuzankala Mazambians bazakapezekako. Musaka basoberese, let us kick them out. Lekani baende chifuka bakangi wamema naita promise. It's very painful to be where we are today. Ni chama nyazi nditu. Atizunza abantu atizunza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another caller. Good morning. Your name and you're calling us from? Washi?
Malama.
Malama from the Copper Belt. In Kitwe. Please go ahead. Yeah, that is Vashmalama from the Copper Belt. Honorable Monde, well, we've got another caller. We've lost it. Having heard from, we have another caller. Good morning, your name and where you're calling us from. Buno Banji, Mami. Zina, na kwe mchokela. Okay, the line is bad, so wait for another call. Hearing from the callers.
Yes. It's very clear.
That's extra pressure on you, if I may say, as a PF and Tonsi Alliance, to organize yourselves quickly, because as long as you're not organized.
Yes, that's a call.
Yeah, so then we have another caller. Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from? Mr. David.
Gabo tuwa David. Gamwamba muli buti twalumba. Basi kulia magowa. Ati chitabo batolo. Mulusaga ba David mulima guli ulusaga nywebo gamuya gumanda. Ino mtoka takwene nguli. Ndarumba amwambe tutelele mapengu mujisi.
Okay. Lebanene bamonde kulamu yaka ikipota pepeta zumi na ndiwe mwamba kuti turi ntiye futani ila hichi goro bagali kupadera kumaruro areas bakupadera 150 and uma secondary au mulabeta lebo ndambura wanu ndakabambira amani hachigoro mu 2021 I'm the same person who voted you out because bagali kupadera 400 kwacha mumaruro areas kusiwongo secondary school kwasikongo kunjiro district ndakati mundambire chibhadhira chimwakaaka ibhadhira ikati mwakaaka musaibini province ama district tiri near time mundambire awako mundambire kupemba twakayaka kuchiri kundu twakayaka kamwamboti twakayaka almost more than 100 district hospitals mwakayiyakira kuri kambo kunjiranda kunyira ibhadhira chimwakaaka chipatu cha hurumende ya district tambe muzirundu kumasabuka usiyafunga kugwembe kuziyangata kwina zipata zimwakala tuberema ma hospital mission ya kuzirundu ekatholiki kuziyangata wabereka salvation army ne kumaka yaka ipadere onkuri ayikole kumaka yaka inje onkuri yamba kuti nyewoni chino makala ikole onse kambo amamba kuti PF pakaka ikole hii maningi fanyo makakira kuti makaiya chiko during PF time chimakaiya chiko tsakaka kaunda. Yeah. Kama kati mundambire masimbawo kapo azine masimbe kamwamba takamuvota yobo takamukuya mupawa kambo au akutaberera kapoto sokotonga twakali kumwa mulusaka during your time yebo bagive mukinde bakatira nyo bakaumwa makadasi bati babo makadasi bakwanira kuuma musorori wentu mweke nyo mupawa kudala kuda kachitino.
Yeah. So turning to
this country, Minister of Justice, whom have a cut as well. Uti muntu umwe abana barukuwa mungu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. David.
Okay,
so I understand Tonga, but not that deep. But I know you were saying most of it. I picked up that you're not being truthful with your claims.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I'll allow you to comment just for the benefit of all that don't understand.
Okay. So what Mr. David is saying, I would have really loved to say it in Tonga.
In Tonga, yeah.
But I know that even you moderator, you will be joined. But you see, he's saying that the school fees were never 150, but they were 400.
Yes.
And so on and so forth.
And most of the hospitals
there's no hospital that was built. There's no school that was built.
These are mission hospitals.
That they are only going in Southern Province. He says that in Southern Province they are only going to mission hospitals.
Yeah.
And so on. Now, everywhere where the PF created a new district, they built a new hospital, secondary schools, teachers' houses, police. One case study is that I want to invite, since he's saying he comes from Chirundu here, Gwembe.
Yeah.
On the way coming here, there is a district called Chikankata. It's one of the main districts that the PF created. Let him go to Chikankata. He's going to find the new secondary school, new hospitals, new police. The new town is coming on and so on and so forth. There are, in Southern Province, where he is saying that what was done in Southern Province, the PF built Harimwangankumbula Airport, an international airport, state of the art. In Livingstone, the capital, if you're going to check, you're going to find there's a modern bus station, terminus, international terminus. If you come to Choma now, the provincial capital, I don't even know if they've taken it back to Livingstone.
Yeah.
If you go to Choma, the provincial capital, you find the new hospitals built in Choma. You find the new government staff houses. Everything has been improved. Choma is now competing with Livingstone in terms of development. They received a fair share of the national development. People that have not been to Choma, when they go back, they say, this is what is happening.
Yeah.
All of those were works of the PF. So for me, I can clearly see that my brother, David Sebastian, who calls himself a true Tonga, and I asked him to say, who is a fake Tonga? and so he's just doing politics. And I think you will leave him. These are the people that Mamake Angela was talking about, that because they are celebrating or they're enjoying, they are working at the community house, or maybe they've got privileges. They want to think the whole country is in that state.
Yeah, we have another caller. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello, my name is Isaac Mbewe, calling you from Kanyama.
From Kanyama?
Yes.
Yeah, Isaac Mbewe, please go ahead. You've got 30 seconds. Please pause your contribution.
Yes, I want to encourage Mr. Monde. I know he's standing under the PF ticket to his presidential hopeful. My word of encouragement to him is that he's a good leader and he's young. Now, the problem with him is that maybe in terms of he's not doing much compared to Mr. Brian Mondo. So I want to encourage him that but support I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Yeah, that's Isaac from Kanyama. Yeah, so I actually posed a question. We have a caller. Maybe we take no, they've gone.
There was a talk from Bashimalama from Kitwe that we didn't talk about, and for him, actually, he's very concerned about him. People are boasting, no, jobs have been created. You know that the government cannot employ the whole lot of Zambians. And how jobs are created in any country is government creating avenues that are going to be amicable or better for employment to grow. Right now, Mai Angela, Bashimalama, and all the other callers that have substantively contributed positively here, they will tell you that jobs are being lost every day. What do you do to industries that are now running only 4 hours, 3 hours of power? People are being retained from work. These were running saloons. These were running barber shops. So there is completely nothing that is happening. And we will heed to the advice of Shimalama that to bombere chapamo, to allow bombera chapamo, and to ensure that we create. My prayer is that we as opposition, we must one day come to a room, fight, agree, disagree, but come out of that room with one candidate who every one of us must rally behind, and be able to give Zambians a true leader that is going to liberate them from the struggles of the lying UPND.
Yeah, we've got a caller. Good morning, your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning, this is Monica. I'm calling you from Monde.
Monica from Mwape. Please go ahead, you've got 30 seconds.
The guest, good morning there.
Morning, Monica, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the government. Yeah, the government, they told us youth, they will give us more jobs. You see, they'll give us more jobs if we vote for them. That was the one of their campaigns that they told us youth. But if you come here in my compound, you see the many youth, the Wankalama junkies, is us youth. Because there's no job for youth, he says. Talk of power, there's no power because us youth, we are used to my skills of saloons, we are used to my skills of computers. Because there's no power, we have nothing. We have come my junkies, my women now, us girls now, we are becoming to move out the poverty, which is not good. We have the certificate, but there's no job connection. If you need to have a job, you need to be connected to someone for you to be employed, which is very bad. That was the main target of for us to vote for them to be into power, so that we can have more jobs. So it does not mean you go to school, you do all your things at school, and then you bring your certificate, or maybe you bring your degree at home, you just sit on it. You're not making your parents proud. And then if you talk about the free education that we are having now, the free education now is pathetic. It's not even giving an appetite in terms of activities. Those days we used to have activities, NASAs, we need to have NASAs, big NASAs. We need to have trophies, certificates. But if you go to schools, the last NASAs there were no certificates, no trophies at cinema activities for schools. Talk of the free education, because that days we used to pay for the school fees, even if it was a 200. You should contribute to these activities.
Yeah,
they're talking about they have included more teachers, more doctors. In which hospitals and which schools? The PS did it, right? And then they're into power now. They're saying that we damages Yambi. If you damages Yambi, what do? You make them, and then we see yours when later in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Monica, for your contribution.
For my conclusion, what I will encourage the PFP, you've been into power before, and then if you want to come back into power, give us the real things. Give us the things that we used to have back then. We need all those things for us to have money, for us to be employed back again. We don't have to be. We don't want to be junkies. Be homeless. No, we don't want.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Monica. That's Monica from Ngombe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? When you listen to what Monica is actually saying, this is not rehearsed text.
Yeah.
Monica needed I'm glad you've given an opportunity to finish what she was saying.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can see that Monica is one of those. Monica is not asking for a job from government. When you listen to her, she's saying, out of our sweat, we have gone to school to do these courses, colleges, and the crafts.
Yeah.
Now we want to produce. This government we've put in power to reduce load shedding has failed to reduce load shedding, thereby rendering us redundant. So I can't even do. And no, they've got very nice slogans. Imita ufole, get pregnant so that you can be paid or put on a social scheme. Kwenyu, for nothing that they have done, Kwenyu. Before that there was Fimba Upoke, be annoyed and best, we don't care. Truly, this is where we are at. And the young people are complaining. Let me assure you, Monica, that as PF, we want to come back better and stronger and perfect than before. We will give you the real thing. And the real thing cannot happen without you, the young people. For too much a time, you have been asked to be on the bench waiting. You are the people that we have been waiting for. Isaac, in the same line, is happy from Kanyama that we are doing these good works and so on. We'll keep visibility. And as we do the visibility, I want Isaac, I want Monica, please let's unite, let's gang up together to show the UPND that they cannot own the Zambian people. The Zambian people have only given the UPND but a short time with a limitation of 5 years to perform. If they don't perform, kick them out, bring another one, another 5 years. This is what democracy is. So let's all rise and take them out because they have failed. Not that we hate them. They have failed. What have they delivered? These are the things that you've outlined here. There is no power. There is cost of living is very high. These are the matters. And anyone who's going to trivialize these issues and think that politics is like a game, it's like Manu or Chelsea. If one wins, you go celebrating. No, yeah. We're talking about lives of people here.
Yeah. We have another caller. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Nkakila Oliver.
Mr. Oliver, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kawe.
From Kawe. Please go ahead quickly with your contribution.
Yeah, I think let us talk like mature people have grown. PF, yes, they did what they did, but Kulama schools, Balinsha, ama workers in government. Then UPND na NISA, Yalunda Popa Pereshe.
Yeah.
Then Yangisha Konama workers in government. But the point of Turo Kisha Kwebat, Imi Bombele Alishak.
Yeah.
Where the problem is, but let's think about 50 pin, but 100 pin. Or the parliament, a problem ya labor. Ukagwana na bwali mnamu na munchito bale bomba. Tatwekana tukuomba bushita babombero bali bomba batimi bombere. Mumone muri one team bapiba ba UPND. Abantu bengishe nchito bengi kuchoba ingishe ba PF. So we are saying kumono kwa tugushe uyu nene ngatwa mwashima teni two teams. Kucha chipenshi. So tuichita compare omuntu muni one team na muni two team. Then secondary ekintu tulinge twalolekesha. Ba PF tatwinge tulande sanu attack, which means mwana turufe afwe Zambians. Sometimes let us talk what we are going to do now when we come back into power, because 3/4 of people class and the level opo babelelepo. No one have got manifesto ya kulande fair for kweba takachite. Every time kororesha pa government for ilerufiana. Honestly speaking, umuntu oba punka no muntu wa ipuntura, they are different. Umuntu oba punka injury can be big. Umuntu wa ipuntura fe pa no ila bwana ino. So you can pitle mu drought season. And mu drought season because what maybe that they can do something. So let us just help each other so that our country can progress. Yeah. Not that when it is our country. You can detect someone.
Yeah.
So please attack,
Thank you very much, Mr. Oliver.
Please.
Yeah. That's Mr. Oliver from Kawe. We'll take one more caller and then I'll give you an opportunity to respond to those and then we can close the show. We have another caller. Good morning. Your name and where calling us from?
Mkwai mwabombe mkwai.
Twatotela.
Mkwai.
Mwa nani?
No wana kaonga kukabwe.
Wana kaonga kukabwe. Mnamkwata 30 seconds. Give us your contribution.
Mkwai. Na inendera ndakotata. Iseba PF. Eto tuwakwatila na maka. Eto tuwasa nino mutu fatulana pa malejo. Bani tuwali mwone finjere ngwesingi. Epo ashire tata. Alipanga mpuila po. Isi na imwe nomba. Ili ngirire madoile chotu asha. Ama kote obashire. Kuna kukabo. Tabala isula na nomba. Mwewa fiashi. Tabala isula. Barita konsentrate kutatindi sindi. Tuwapo rukungu kuno. Muri 4 years. Ala driver luba. Kwa isa kondakita. Uyo kondakita tako jela vision ya kuteke charo. Kwa ila nomba uno. Tutotori tuwa malaite tuwetu tuweikala na do. waila nombo no mwana tulaingilila napa kulada tupamona nandu wakufita isala ipamushi oyo mwaturetela mwana gacha mwana useka twale kwatumieshe tumonopo mwana bomba tero chamikanga conduct driver luba wasala conduct so ichumwetu nina pasweka mwala ya 2026 mwatu pesha payuti barela unda tapado mwangi senchi mlengi senchi wa brulu ni fulu mwangi chibiko loko mlengi senchi to mwala mwenako
that's from Kabwe. So 2 calls from Kabwe. We'll close on that. I'd like you to make some comments on Mr. Oliver and our mother who just came off the line there. Then I'll give you an opportunity to just also give your closing remarks.
Very well. Thank you very much. Banakaonga na bankakira ba Oliver na tumfifu malanda. Bamayo banakaonga ifyo mulandire I think chishinkecho. And this is why mule monena ba UPND ukufiro okubomba. There are a lot of projects over Mukuisula which were already commissioned by the PF. Kufiro kubomba. It is very sad that kukawe kuli ama projects ayo ama koti o mwalanda na fimbi fintu. If your UPND is just failing just to commission, they are failing to commission those projects in Kabwe. But I mean, I think for me, I have no much expectation for this government, and therefore I will not even want to expect anything better from them because, I mean, what is there for them to do?
Yeah.
So twawumfwefu, and I'm very happy that twalabomba okubafumiaba. Coming to Nkakila, Oliver, I'm very happy that Oliver is actually a statesman. The manner in which Oliver is coming out is so encouraging that he, you know, as we politicize, we must be able to try and find a way in which we can have middle ground. And he's trying to create a middle ground. The only problem that is there is it's very difficult to find a middle ground with the works of UPND. And especially when you've had a political party that went out to work very hard. It's very, very difficult. You make all the accusations, but I can assure you that you get to a point where you have nothing to accuse. If we take, for example, the accusation was that some of these projects, and that was a lie. That was all a lie that was created. Tenders in this country go through tender processes. And this saying, I'm not saying that all tenders are not flawed. Some of them, they've got areas where gray areas. But over and above, there will be 10 bidders, and then the one bidder is selected. It's what you want. If you want, for example, on the dual carriage road to Ndola, if you want along the way to create kiosks, you want to put side tracking, you want to put cycleways, and if you don't want them, the price will never be the same. So we heard the president saying that, what did he call the KKI, the international airport, Kenneth Kaunda? He says it was a sausage. So, because he said that the price was at 400 million, now, if in 400 million you are saying that it was a sausage and that it's much cheaper, how many districts do we still have in this country that needs airports? Many. In 4 years, we should have seen this government go out and say, we are putting a standard airport better than the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, and this one we are putting it in Solwezi, or we are putting it in Mongu. And this is how much it has costed us. Because if the PF inflated prices, it meant that there's surplus money in the budget, in the coffers. So these were not inflating on their projects. What projects are they doing? Nothing. So it's just the cry of spilt milk. PF went out to do all of these things. The schools were built and we saw them. Mr. Nkakila says that UPND employed more civil servants than PF. It's not correct. They employed in 2 sectors. In the health, they employed 27,000 the first time. UPF employed almost 25,000 in that period. Progressively, they've been employing 4,000, 2,000, but overall, there are many other sectors. The police, the army. What have they built in terms of infrastructure for the police, for example? Under PF, more than 2,500 houses were built. Okay? In fact, I needed to check that figure clearly. I have it somewhere. Yes. 2,350 houses in the police alone. ZAF. Those were the works. Under PF, Unlike what these people are saying, that Zambia is a construction site. Is Zambia a construction site today or it was before? How many construction companies have closed up now? How many jobs or which construction companies? Here in Garden, where's Garden? Yeah, here in Garden. There is like a road they're trying to do from that is Machinchi Road coming there. That road has taken almost a year now. They are closing roads. Those were works under PF. You go in the morning, you come back in the evening, the tie is done. Everywhere there was construction. Anywhere you looked under PF, there was construction.
Yeah.
So we can't even rate. And this is why the difficulty the UPND will have is if the Zambian people manage to take out PF with all the works, the infrastructure, the cost of living being at its lowest, if they manage to take out the PF, what will happen to these ones who have no record whatsoever?
Honorable Monde, your closing remarks?
For me, my remark is that I want to invite the young people to the table. It's no longer soccer that you watch as a spectator. Now politics in this country is about our lives. If we are going to entrust power in politicians that are selfish, politicians that are liars, as young people, we will continue to cry and our children and their children will suffer. Let's all rise like the way it was in 1964. At 1964, there were elderly people in Zambia, but they entrusted political power into the hands of the 40s, the 30s. The oldest in that team was 42, Grey Zulu. Kaunda was 40. Minister of Finance, First Minister of Finance, Mr. Arthur Winner was 28. Many other ministers. So it was a government of young people. And this is why you saw that after liberating this country from that regime to where we are now, it's now our time to liberate ourselves on this economic regime. We have no time. We are late. We have less than 12 months to go. Let's rise, all of us, and fight so that we can kick out a dictator. This man is a full-fledged dictator. You can even see how wings of government are operating. Given an opportunity myself, the 13th assembly, this one, the current one, the 2021-2026, if I had an opportunity myself, this one should even be expunged from our records. You can see how our members of parliament have become toothless. They can't even talk. The speakers there are gagging them. Is that what we want to see as a country? I want many young people to vie for positions of councillor, council chairpersons, mayors, MPs, president included. Let's all come on board. We unite and we agree on one young person to come and lead this country.
All right, Honorable GreyFord Monde, thank you so much for coming through to the Political Podcast.
Most welcome. Thanks so much. And let me thank all the callers and everyone that has participated in this program.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you to the callers, to the viewers, and of course, listeners that came through for today's episode of the Political Podcast. We had Honorable GreyFord Monde from the PF. He's aspiring presidential candidate for the PF, so wish him all the best. This has been the Political Podcast. My name is Yowela. See you next week.
This has been the Political Podcast. Be sure to tune in next week Wednesday for another exciting episode.